Meghan Markle has just given a bizarre new interview in Australia, trying to justify that trip and also receive international acclaim for her new moves in the fashion arena. But for me, this was totally bizarre. Australian Women's Weekly is where she's given the interview.
I think the whole Australia visit was a bit of a poke at the King. I mean, you remember the King is just King of Australia, and William is the heir to the throne of Australia. So the whole thing, I think, was call me Meg. Well, sorry, Meghan Markle, Duchess, whatever. Meg is a very Aussie way of saying something. Same as Hazza and Meg.
Meghan Markle has now openly confirmed, in her own words, that she is earning money from the outfits she wore during the Australian tour through a partnership with the one-off fashion marketplace platform. This is no longer rumor or insider gossip floating around online. The confirmation came directly from Meghan herself during an exclusive interview with Australian Women's Weekly, which was clearly positioned as her big post-tour media rollout.
You'll always be a loved member of our family, but you're no longer a working royal. That's it, you're out. Don't trade on the name and don't try to monetize the name. That was the clear message from Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
In the interview, Meghan broke it down. Over the last several years, she would hear about an incorrect designer getting credit for something she wore, and that never seemed fair. To that end, she has partnered with One-Off to ensure the correct designer is credited. That quote changes everything because now the partnership is officially tied to Meghan on the public record, not just reported through unnamed sources or royal commentators. But critics are already calling it out, saying the explanation sounds a little too polished. Meghan is framing the partnership as being about supporting designers and making sure the right brands get proper recognition. However, the bigger issue people are focusing on is the business side behind it all.
And to me, Jobbo, this looks like a PR job. Okay, it looks like this has been copy approved and the full works, but I'll take you through the whole thing.
Without doubt,
okay.
Yeah.
So they write, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, has long been a lover of fashion and a modern style icon. Really? Who's saying that?
One-Off is not just some innocent fashion archive page. It's a global shopping platform where fans can directly buy the same looks celebrities wear. And when purchases happen, commissions can be generated behind the scenes. That's why many royal watchers believe the crediting designers explanation is more of a public relations angle than the full story. According to critics, the real focus here is the potential money stream attached to Meghan's fashion influence. The outfits become content. The content drives shopping traffic, and the shopping traffic can turn into profit. This also lines up with claims discussed recently by broadcaster Dan Wootton and longtime royal reporter Robert Jobson, who both spent time analyzing Meghan's growing commercial strategy.
I said to him the day we were flying out, the only thing better than Australian are Australians. As mentioned, the Duchess styled herself. She reiterates that it was important for her to wear Australian designers on her recent trip. I love being able to wear local designers and celebrate the craftsmanship that's happening in whatever region I'm traveling to. In 2018, during my trip to Australia, I really focused on smaller labels, female-owned brands, up-and-coming designers, and brands with purpose.
Jobson especially pointed to the Australian Women's Weekly interview as being much bigger than just another celebrity magazine feature. According to him, the publication choice itself sends a message. Jobson, who has worked closely with Australian media for years through Sunrise and the Seven Network, argued that Australian Women's Weekly sits more in the world of mainstream celebrity culture, breakfast TV personalities, and emotional human interest stories. It's respected, but it's not considered a major high-fashion power publication. It's not Vogue, not Tatler, and not one of the elite fashion magazines known for hard editorial questions or luxury branding launches.
You see where we're getting to? She's trying to justify selling her outfits, okay? To that end, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has partnered with One-Off to ensure the correct designers are credited. So it's nothing to do with her making money. Nothing to do with her making money at all. Of course not. One-Off is a global fashion marketplace. It allows participants like Meghan to share their looks and properly credit the designers. It also enables fans of the looks to purchase the items themselves. I mean, Jobbo, have you ever, firstly, seen more propaganda than that? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed for the Australian Woman's Weekly publishing that.
That's where the conversation gets messy. Critics believe the fact Meghan chose Australian Women's Weekly instead of a major fashion outlet could suggest that bigger fashion publications either were not interested in pushing this partnership heavily, or that her team preferred a softer interview environment where tougher questions about commissions and commercial deals would never really come up. Some commentators even believe the interview appeared heavily controlled from Meghan's side. The language throughout the article felt extremely polished, carefully structured, and unusually protective. That's why people are speculating the feature may have operated under very strict approval conditions behind the scenes. Then there's the whole "Call Me Meg" angle, which sparked another wave of reactions online. Throughout the Australian coverage, Meghan leaned into the nickname Meg as a more casual and relatable image. According to Jobson, this was likely meant to create a friendly, down-to-earth connection with the Australian public by using a more relaxed Aussie-style nickname. But critics immediately pointed out what they see as a contradiction. They argue that Meghan presents herself very differently, depending on the audience she's speaking to. In Australia, it's "Call Me Meg." But in more formal American events and institutional settings, critics claim the full title Duchess of Sussex is still regularly announced and emphasized by staff and event organizers. That contrast has now become another major talking point surrounding Meghan's public image strategy. Some people see it as smart branding and flexibility.
But also for her status, let's be honest, it's not even UK Vogue. It's not Tatler. This is Australian Women's Week. It's just not where you do it. So it just shows you just how far she's come down. This is a woman that with her husband wants to monetize the royal family. This is why they're where they are, because they didn't want to play the game as it should be played. They wanted to do it their own way, and they wanted to make cheap bucks along the way. Well, that's what they're doing, and this is where they've come to.
Others see it as carefully managed image switching depending on what works best for the crowd in front of her at the time. And this is where critics say the pattern starts to stand out. According to royal commentators, Meghan's public image seems to shift depending on what benefits her in the moment. The royal title gets emphasized when it adds status or influence, while the more casual Meg image appears when she wants to seem relatable and grounded. That contrast is exactly what has people debating whether this feels authentic or carefully calculated for impact. The interview itself also raised eyebrows because so much of it reads less like traditional journalism and more like polished promotional content. Fashion is presented like cultural commentary, but critics argue the tone becomes so flattering at times that it barely feels independent. Some readers even said the magazine's voice blends closely with Sussex-style public relations messaging. Right from the beginning, the article paints Meghan as a lifelong fashion lover and a global style icon. It pushes the idea of the so-called Meghan effect, where outfits Meghan wears supposedly sell out almost instantly after being seen in public. That narrative has followed Meghan for years and has become a major part of her fashion image. But critics argue there's a clear disconnect between the branding and the real business results. They point to the struggles surrounding the Azever brand, which has reportedly spent a long time testing launches and products without creating the massive demand many expected.
I personally think it's a real letdown for the king and for everyone else. I mean, look, Kate, when she goes to Australia, she wears clothes by local designers, but she doesn't. She's not getting people to buy them, so she gets the money in the bank. She's promoting local business.
According to commentators, some releases did not create the kind of sellout impact the Meghan effect suggests. The Mother's Day chocolate collection reportedly did not fully sell out, while critics also questioned the candle line after online discussions about naming and manufacturing details. Then came the wine launch, where the 3-bottle minimum purchase requirement quickly became another talking point. Some market watchers argued that high bundle minimums can sometimes signal weaker individual demand rather than overwhelming popularity. That's why critics say the Meghan effect works better as a marketing phrase than as proven business reality. If the influence was truly operating at the massive level described in headlines, they argue the commercial side of the Sussex brand would likely look much stronger financially right now. Another thing sparking criticism is that the magazine reportedly repeated these claims without presenting hard evidence to back them up. Australian Women's Weekly discussed Meghan's fashion influence as if it were already established fact, but critics noticed there were no detailed sales figures, retailer statements, or independent data included to confirm the scale of these supposed sellouts. That editorial choice became a major issue for commentators like Dan Wooten, who argued that publications should not simply repeat celebrity branding narratives without challenging them.
This a little bit lighter.
And it's like, for someone who's meant to be an actress, Joe, it's just like, come on, just give it up. Just be yourself. You know?
She didn't like it. She wanted to spit it out. She didn't like that, you know.
Totally, and it was warm.
Critics say when magazines stop asking difficult questions and instead publish highly controlled celebrity messaging, the line between journalism and promotional content starts getting very blurry. According to these commentators, the magazine's credibility is being used to amplify a Sussex commercial narrative in exchange for exclusive access. And when readers look closely, some critics argue the interview itself does not actually reveal much meaningful information despite receiving so much attention. Even Meghan's fashion comments inside the interview became part of the bigger debate. At one point, she described her outfit from MasterChef Australia, a button-down shirt paired with a pencil skirt, as being inspired by nostalgia for her Rachel Zane character from Suits. She also mentioned choosing black because it felt like the safest color in case of spills during filming. But commentators immediately focused on the deeper meaning behind the Suits reference. Critics argue Meghan is once again leaning heavily on her pre-royal Hollywood identity at a time when the Sussex brand was originally built around the idea that marrying Prince Harry elevated her beyond the entertainment industry.
Of us feel battered, helpless, in the face of the seemingly endless stream of disasters and devastation. I understand. This has been a painful year in a painful decade. We're living through a pandemic used to ravage communities in every corner of the globe. Climate change wreaking havoc on our planet, with the most vulnerable suffering most of all. The few weaponizing lies and disinformation at the expense of the many. And from the horrific war in Ukraine to the rolling back of constitutional rights here in the United States, we are witnessing a global assault on democracy and freedom.
Now, according to critics, there seems to be a growing return to the celebrity world that the brand once claimed to move past. The Australian Women's Weekly interview keeps pulling Meghan back toward her Hollywood past, and critics say that clashes with the image the Sussex brand originally tried to build. For years, the narrative was that she had moved beyond acting and celebrity culture after joining the royal family. But now, according to commentators, the interview seems to bring her Suits character Rachel Zane back into focus as part of her current identity. Critics argue those two images do not fit smoothly together. On one side, Meghan was framed as someone stepping into higher global influence through royalty. On the other side, the current branding keeps circling back to her acting career for nostalgia and public connection. According to royal commentators, that shift suggests the original transformation narrative may be fading. Another detail getting attention was Meghan's reference to designer Karen G. During the interview, Meghan recalled wearing Karen G dresses years ago when she publicly announced her pregnancy with Archie. Critics say this detail matters because Karen G has remained one of the few designers consistently connected to Meghan over time, while many other fashion relationships from earlier years appear to have faded away. That's why some royal watchers believe the bigger picture points toward a fashion network that may actually be shrinking instead of expanding. According to critics, the Australian tour and interview mainly highlighted a smaller circle of loyal designer relationships that Meghan has managed to maintain, rather than showcasing major new fashion industry momentum.
But then Rob Schneider went back to this old rumor, and I wanted to ask you about it, Joe. Prince Harry is an embarrassment to Princess Diana.
This is where commentators started comparing Meghan's approach directly to Catherine, Princess of Wales, and the traditional royal tour model. Critics point out that when Catherine travels internationally on royal tours, she often wears local designers as a cultural gesture to support businesses and spotlight the host country. But importantly, those appearances are not usually tied to commercial marketplace partnerships or direct monetization structures. According to commentators, the benefit in those traditional royal settings mainly goes toward diplomacy, visibility for local fashion, and institutional goodwill. But critics argue the Sussex partnership with One-Off changes the nature of the entire system because it introduces commercial shopping links and possible commission structures directly into the equation. That distinction has now become one of the biggest talking points surrounding Meghan's tour strategy. Critics argue the Sussex brand is turning activities traditionally viewed as public service into potential revenue-generating opportunities. Supporters may see it as modern branding, but opponents claim it changes the spirit of what royal-style tours were historically meant to represent.
Harry is absolutely is Charles's son.
And look, there's the Prince Philip picture. We've got that actually, and you can see the comparison there.
And the most important thing is that they hadn't met when Harry was born.
Then another Australian moment suddenly started spreading across royal commentary channels online. Meghan appeared in a separate video segment where she met 2 Australian influencers with Down syndrome during the tour. The clip was designed as a warm and positive interaction meant to humanize the visit and create a friendly atmosphere around the event. During the exchange, the influencers offered Meghan a glass of Australian beer. But online discussion exploded afterward because viewers began focusing on Meghan's facial reaction after tasting it. Critics claim she appeared visibly uncomfortable with the taste and struggled to fully hide the reaction on camera. Commentator Robert Jobson later weighed in on the moment, and interestingly, he even noted that he personally does not drink alcohol himself. According to him, the issue was never about whether Meghan likes beer or not. Instead, he argued the bigger problem was the visible reaction itself and how quickly it became noticeable during a public engagement. Critics say public figures, especially those with acting experience and years of media training, are expected to stay composed in small social moments like these, even when something catches them off guard. And because the clip spread so quickly online, opponents immediately framed it as another example of Meghan struggling to maintain relaxed public chemistry during unscripted interactions.
He's a guy that wanted out of the royal family, okay? He's a guy that, well, he wanted semi in and out, and then the Queen categorically told him, you're either in or you're out, and he chose out. He went on, famously called it the freedom flight. Okay, that's your decision. You'll always be a loved member of our family, but you're no longer a working royal. That's it, you're out. Don't trade on the name and don't try to monetize the name. That was the clear message from Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Critics say the biggest problem with that Australian segment is that it was clearly designed to make Meghan appear warm, relaxed, and relatable. But for many viewers, it had the opposite effect. Instead of feeling natural, commentators argued the moment looked overly managed, and once the awkward facial reaction happened, people online immediately locked onto it. According to critics, the carefully built image started slipping in real time right in front of the cameras. At the same time, another royal clip started exploding across social media for completely different reasons. A resurfaced speech from Prince Harry at the United Nations began circulating heavily after being reposted by the Defiant 8 account online. The speech included Harry speaking about global crises, saying the world was still dealing with a pandemic affecting communities, climate change causing destruction, disinformation spreading across society, the war in Ukraine, and what he described as threats to democracy and constitutional rights in the United States. The speech quickly became controversial online because many viewers felt Harry sounded overly political and disconnected from everyday people. Some critics argued the tone came across more like a global activist lecture than a royal-style humanitarian speech, and reactions started building almost instantly. Then things escalated even further when American media personality Adam Carolla reposted the clip with a short response that gained massive attention online.
And it is about the impact of the ongoing stress that Prince Harry is putting his father through. And this is so significant, John, and I think it's too often overlooked because a lot of people try and say, oh, the British public will forgive Prince Harry, and one day, once he's left Meghan Markle, he'll be back in the fold. John, I'll never forgive him because it's not just Charles. I mean, I feel hugely sympathetic to Charles given his current cancer battle, but it's Catherine when she was going through her cancer. And I will never forget what he did during Prince Philip's and the late Queen Elizabeth II.
Soon after, actor and comedian Rob Schneider added his own controversial comment referencing long-running rumors surrounding Harry's paternity, which instantly pushed the conversation in a completely different direction across social media platforms. Royal reporter Robert Jobson later addressed the rumor, directly and firmly pushed back against it. Jobson has known people close to Diana, Princess of Wales, personally for years, including former Royal Protection Officer Ken Worf, who worked closely with Diana during her lifetime. According to Jobson, the rumors involving James Hewitt are completely false and have no factual basis. He explained that Diana herself had reportedly addressed the topic years ago through conversations recalled by Worf. According to those accounts, Diana maintained that Harry was unquestionably the son of King Charles III. Jobson also pointed to the timeline itself, which critics of the rumor say completely destroys the theory. Harry was born in September 1984, while Diana reportedly did not meet James Hewitt until around the summer of 1986. That creates roughly a 2-year gap between Harry's birth and the beginning of Diana's acquaintance with Hewitt. Because of that timeline, commentators argue the rumor does not survive basic date checks. According to royal historians and reporters familiar with the story, the timing alone makes the claim impossible. Yet despite that, the rumor has continued circulating for decades online and in tabloids because many people find the story dramatic and sensational. Another point Jobson raised involved Harry's appearance, especially the constant focus on his red hair. Critics online often compare Harry and Hewitt because both men share similar coloring and features. But according to Jobson, the red hair actually traces back through Diana's own family line, particularly the Spencer side. He pointed out that Diana's sister, Sarah McCorquodale, also has red hair, and similar coloring existed in earlier Spencer family generations as well.
The fact that he learned nothing from that and he is now doing the same thing to his father. After that visit, Jobbo, do you remember Harry came out and said, "Oh, it's all about my dad now"? And actually, it's like not, because he doesn't seem to give a damn how much pressure and stress he puts Charles through.
According to commentators defending Harry against the rumors, the genetics are already fully explainable without involving Hewitt at all. Jobson even suggested that people compare Harry to a young Prince Philip instead, especially in older military photographs. According to him, similarities in facial structure, bone shape, and overall appearance become much more noticeable when looking at Harry alongside members of the Mountbatten side of the royal family. In the end, critics say the persistence of these rumors says more about internet culture and tabloid obsession than it does about reality itself. Even when timelines, family history, and direct accounts contradict the theory, the rumor continues circulating because shocking gossip spreads faster online than boring facts ever do. The reason the Hewitt rumor keeps surviving online is because, to many people, it creates a dramatic story that feels emotionally satisfying, even if the timeline does not support it. The idea that Diana, Princess of Wales, later had a relationship with James Hewitt makes some audiences want to connect that relationship back to Prince Harry retroactively. Critics say the story spreads because it sounds sensational, not because it matches the facts.
The way you speak about lecturing people about being a dad, it's easier. I can tell you one thing, Harry, if you're listening, and I suggest you start listening to people like Dan and myself, is that it's a lot easier to be a dad when you haven't got to worry about paying the bills. Because when you're a dad, you can talk to all the, and you've got to go to get up at 5 a.m. to go to a building site, then come home and then it's 8 o'clock at night and then your wife's moaning at you and you've got 2 little kids. It's a lot harder, mate, than if you've got 20 million in the bank and you want to whisper, things into the womb or whatever bullshit he was talking about the other day.
What has really changed now is how mainstream the joke has become. Commentators point out that American comedians and online personalities are referencing the rumor casually instead of treating it like a taboo subject. According to critics, that shows a major cultural shift around both Harry and Meghan Markle. Comedy shows and internet creators now openly joke about the Sussexes in ways that would have created major backlash only a few years ago. Royal reporter Robert Jobson also criticized Harry's United Nations speech itself, arguing that audiences are increasingly questioning why Harry positions himself as a major authority on constitutional democracy and global politics. Critics online pointed out that Harry does not come from a political, academic, or constitutional background, yet often speaks with the tone of a global statesman. According to commentators, the issue is not necessarily Harry expressing opinions. The bigger issue is the gap between the high-level institutional framing of the speech and the public perception of Harry's actual experience and qualifications. Critics say many viewers no longer automatically accept the global leader framing that once came naturally with royal status. Jobson's argument was that Harry made a clear decision years ago when he and Meghan stepped away from royal duties. Queen Elizabeth II reportedly made it clear at the time that there could not be a half-in, half-out arrangement. According to critics, Harry chose independence, but still continues trying to benefit from royal connections while publicly criticizing the institution at the same time. That contradiction, critics argue, has become harder for audiences to ignore. Harry often presents himself as independent from the monarchy, yet still speaks from a position many people associate with royal authority and influence. According to commentators, viewers now recognize that tension much more clearly than before.
The bottom line is most men and women, now I know we live in a world where both men and women go to work, if you haven't got to worry about the money, you don't really have to worry about, you can come out with all this absolute woke bollocks, frankly, about what it's like to be a dad. Unless you know being a dad means you've got to go out and earn money to put a roof over your wife and children's head.
The emotional side of the story has also become part of the conversation. Critics point out that King Charles III is currently dealing with treatment, while Catherine, Princess of Wales, also faced serious health challenges during the period when Harry released Spare and continued discussing painful family conflicts publicly. Commentators have argued that the timing of these projects created enormous pressure on the royal family during already difficult periods. Critics say the combination of interviews, memoirs, media deals, and public accusations has added emotional strain at moments when senior royals were already facing personal health battles behind closed doors. According to Jobson, the long-term institutional damage from this ongoing conflict is very real. But beyond the monarchy itself, critics believe the personal impact on Charles as both a king and a father may be even more significant during a time when his main focus should be recovery and stability rather than non-stop public family drama. Robert Jobson also made the conversation personal by reflecting on losing his own mother during a royal tour in Australia. Because of that experience, he said he understands what it means to balance family pain with public duty. His message toward Prince Harry was simple but emotional. Harry's father is still alive, and critics believe he should value that relationship instead of continuing public battles while there is still time to repair things.
I think that really this man needs to stop gazing at his navel because he's got sod all else to do and actually start thinking that I've lost both my parents. I lost my dad 30 years ago nearly, and I miss him every day. I lost my mum 2 years ago, and actually I was on a royal tour I would start a royal tour in Australia when she passed away, which was heartbreaking. He wants to realize how lucky he is his father's alive and start behaving like a man instead of a wimp.
Jobson also described Queen Camilla as taking on a strong protective role around King Charles III during his health struggles. According to commentators, Camilla has become the shield protecting the king from constant family drama, while the monarchy prepares for the future under William, Prince of Wales, and Catherine, Princess of Wales. Critics also argue that Harry's speeches about fatherhood and emotional struggles sometimes fail to connect with ordinary audiences because his life experience is very different from most working parents. Commentators point out that the average father is balancing bills, work pressure, and financial stress every single day, while Harry speaks from an extremely wealthy position without those same struggles. At the same time, royal reporting itself is changing fast. Commentators like Jobson and Dan Wooten are now building independent platforms outside traditional media systems, meaning royal coverage is becoming harder for celebrity PR teams to tightly manage or control. And according to critics, that is exactly why the Australian Women's Weekly interview caused such a reaction online. Many commentators believe Meghan's own words confirmed what royal critics have been saying for years, that the Sussex brand increasingly blends celebrity promotion, fashion marketing, and royal-style visibility into one commercial strategy. Supporters may call it modern branding, while critics see it as monetizing royal-style influence in a completely new way.